and gentlemen, welcome to the BBC Spews Live. How are you doing? What's the date? It's the 17th of July. Huzzah! Today, we're going to be having a pop into Hollywood. I know you love out like that. Because they're all nonsense and weirdos and perverts and sex pests and gimps and all sorts. That's reason enough to have a go at Hollywood. But there's loads of good, even better reasons to have a go at Hollywood today. And it's because of this cringe picture you see right in front of you. Is there anything, do you remember off Austin Powers where Dr. Evil says, there's nothing more pathetic than an aging hipster, right? There is something more pathetic than an aging hipster, and it's this. It is a multi-millionaire. Matty Nung Wang Paul's in. We were talking about you the other day on Paula's stream, Matty. Yeah, brilliant name that. Basically, there's nothing more pathetic, it beats the aging hipster, than a multi-millionaire, spoiled, mollycoddled, soft-skinned, heavily moisturized, never done a fucking day's real work in his life, little shitbag like Mark Ruffalo, pumping his fist like he's in some sort of, like he's a beret-wearing French resistance fighter in World War II. Right? These are the type of images these people wish to evoke when they do that, right? There's nothing more cringe than this type of shit. Like, it is cringe. 13 going on 30. What is that? His IQ? Fucking 30. Actors strike. Mark Ruffalo says, cut out to the Hollywood fat cat. It's hilarious, isn't it? You are the fat cat, you fucking knobhead. You are the fat cat. It's you. You live in a castle with gates around it, with armed guards, right? Because we know they all do. He's not living in a bed sit, is he? Off Hollywood Boulevard. Trying to sleep at night and you can hear the homeless man wanking 10 inches from your fucking head. That's not what's happening with Mark Ruffalo. He is a fat cat, right? So I love that. I love it. And the hilarious thing about it is they honestly seem to think, well, you know why? Because actors are thick, right? They're the dregs of society. In the ancient Romans had it, right? In ancient Rome, there was nothing lower than a fucking actor. You know what I mean? It was like burglars, pickpockets, paedophiles, and rapists. Actors. that's how it is to me. That's how it is now. And that's how it was in the old days. They were reviled. They're like the lowest people in society. And now, for some reason, the digital age, they are venerated as superstars. It's actually quite ludicrous, the way they behave. When I was in the gym today, I noticed on the television, because you know what it's like. I don't watch mainstream media, but you can't really help it when you're in a modern gym. You're on a treadmill or on a cross trainer or something, and there's a fucking TV in front of your head. It's either look at the telly or look at the 19-year-old girl who's been convinced by feminism that dressing like a prostitute is empowering. Like, who convinced them to do that? Here's a segue. I'm just ranting, as you know I do. So we'll get back to the story in a minute. Who convinced women that was a good idea? Like, I don't understand it. It's ingenious, really. I remember, what's that unfunny comedian from England called? I remember seeing him on telly about 15 years ago. What's his name now? You guys will know what I'm talking about in the chat. What's the name of the book? He's like a fat, relatively portly, clean comedian with quite slanty eyes, but he's white, and he says everyone jokes and says I look like I'm Japanese. And he just makes sort of family-friendly comedy. He's quite funny for a family-friendly comic. Is it Mark McIntyre or Matt McIntyre? I think something like that. Anyway, I remember seeing him saying it was genius that men had somehow, Michael McIntyre, that's it, that men had convinced women, because he's read in some newspaper, that semen was good for them. And he makes a joke about it, saying, like, you've got to hand it to the men that managed to pull that off. Well, I've noticed in modern gyms, the greatest trick that we ever pulled is telling young women the best way to empower yourself is to dress like an absolute prostitute for free and shake your minge 10 yards away from greasy old men who don't have to pay for the privilege. Because, no shit, I'm astounded in my local gym now. Like, astounded. And bear in mind, I'm now in my 40s. So I've been going to gyms for 25 years. In the 90s, the birds used to dress like the blokes. They used to wear like a t-shirt like this and a pair of like, you know, random baggy shorts. And now, yeah, I'll seriously, it is unbelievable. It's like a free fucking lap dance. I was on the rowing machine, you know, boring as shit. There you go. And this bird does like some backwards yoga crab thing, right? With her piss flaps about 8 foot away from my fucking nose. 5 foot when I'm going on the forward pull, you know, like that. And she's wearing like skin colored yoga pants, right? So it basically looks like she's got no clothes on. And I'm desperately trying to ignore this type of thing because, first of all, I'm in my 40s and I'm happily married and I don't like to be tempted. All men know this, right? When you're a red-blooded man, you do still have the occasional twinge, even at my age. And when you want to be a good partner, obviously the last thing you want to do is to even put yourself in a situation where you think about any other women. So I don't even like seeing this type of stuff. You know, it's irritating. When I'm fucking trying to get a sweat on and I'm trying to get really into my workout, and there's a 19-year-old girl with a fucking gusset 2 foot away from my nose, but wearing a see-through spandex outfit. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. I don't like to look at it. And I certainly don't want to be tent pegging while I'm trying to row, right? Because then I'll be poking myself in my belly button with my fucking boner. So it's ridiculous to me that we've made a world where we've somehow convinced modern women that they should just dress like a prostitute all the time. It's fucking weird. It looks like they're not wearing anything. Anyway, went on a segue there. Looking at the telly today, desperately trying to avoid the minge, wall-to-wall clunge everywhere you can look. Young women grinding in my face, trying to get away from it. And you're looking at the television, and there's all these wankers chasing, what do you call him? Messi around Miami, because Messi's just signed, what's his name? Beckham's team, Inter Miami, I think they're called. And they've just signed him, Messi. And I was appalled to see, like, he goes out for a walk in Florida and he just gets chased everywhere he goes by hundreds and hundreds of people. And I was just thinking, yeah, we're the weird ones, aren't we? People like us, we're the weird ones. Normal people that have got no time for these fucking losers just because the mainstream media decides to make them world famous. We're the weird ones. Like, I'm not even interested at all in what these people have got to say. I'm not even joking. 99% of the bands that have been in the chart in the last 10 years, if they were playing in my back garden, I'd pull the fucking curtains. I'm not interested. If I open my window, look, and Bono's out there, U2 are playing a set in my back garden, I'd pull the fucking curtains. I'd be like, oh my God, I thought we'd sent that fucking bog-brained twat to the bottom of the fucking ocean where he belongs. I'm not interested in them. I'm not interested in any of them. And even the ones I like my wife laughs. I've got a soft spot for Tom Cruise. I do like him. I like a lot of his films. I think he's charismatic. If I was on a train and he walked in and sat on it, I wouldn't say anything to him. I'd be like, I don't want to pester the bloke. I'm not interested. And I'm in my 40s. I've met a few famous people or seen a few famous people. Met Prince Harry briefly when I was doing my pre-deployment training. Not interested in talking to him, the little ginger twat. Seeing Chris Evans when I was at a football tournament, dead weird, Middlesbrough Cardiff, the Portuguese champions, and Celtic, a pre-season football tournament in about 2009. We were sat in this quiet pub. There's only about 10 of us in there. And Chris Evans comes in with his mates. And other than saying, it's your fault we got relegated, you ginger twat, because you took Gaza on the piss. Right? He was sober when we signed him, and you took him on the piss for 3 weeks, and the next thing he's a galloping fucking alcoholic all over again. Other than having a pop at them, I've got no interest in talking to these people. Whereas people are sad bastards, and these people, human toilets like Mark Ruffalo, prove it. Rodney Strauss or Barry Chuckle. Yeah, exactly. And did you fucking run over and go, ooh, can I stroke your tash? Barry. Who gives a fuck? Like, you've got to be a bit of a sad bastard, in my book. You had a pint with John Higgins. Well, I'd have a pint with anyone. Rotten politics. You can have a pint with John Higgins. I'd have a pint with anyone. I'd have a pint with Bill Cosby, so I'd definitely have a pint with John Higgins. But you know what I mean? The hero worship is pathetic. And that somebody as famous and rich as Mark Ruffalo, who was in another $1 billion movie, The Avengers, that somebody as famous as him thinks he can paint himself a man of the people and call everybody else a fat cat is laugh out loud funny to me. Like, look at him. What a fucking chopper there he is. Look, I mean, that is cringe in his suit, in his $1,000 suit. No, you're not a French freedom fighter during World War II. You're not a rebel in Cuba fighting the power. You are the power. You are the fat cat. You are the multimillionaire wanker who's never done a day's work in his life. And it's hilarious to me when you read what's gone on in the world from human history, whenever there's a revolution or a massive uprising anywhere, and you read what goes on, to think that these people consider themselves to be down with the people is hilarious to me. And I feel as if the genuinely stupid, they think that people are genuinely stupid enough to think that basically, if you've been publicly woke for a couple of years, you'll be spared the gulags when you actually get a revolution, which is ultimately what the commies always want. People, all the Hollywood types, seem to be thinking that's what we can do. We can be rich and famous and have all the power. It's linked to what I was talking about with Paula about Meghan Markle. They think they can have all the wealth and all the power and all the privilege and all the status, be literally at the absolute top of the tree. First, I was going to say front of the queue, but they don't have to queue. If you're someone like Mark Ruffalo in the society we've built, you're the top of every tree. You're the front, you can skip every queue. You can do whatever you want. You've got unlimited wealth, unlimited prestige, unlimited power. You've got everything you want. The money, the women, the power. That's what you've got if you're a Hollywood actor, right? And not content with just having all of the money and the women and the power, they also want to be better than you and more highly thought of than you, the working class oik. They want to put themselves forward as being victims. And that's what I was joking about yesterday with Paula. This is the world we've created. Someone like Mark Ruffalo thinks that he is in a worse off situation than someone like me because I represent the good people. It's like Greta. Same thing. She can fly wherever she wants. She can get on as many private jets as she likes because she's important. You can't go on holiday, mate. You can't toil all year round and then have a week with the kids in Spain, you selfish twat. No, but Greta and John Kerry and Meghan Markle, they can go on private jet. Oh, no, they can't fly coach. Coach? Coach with all of the poor people. Yeah, coach, which is 1,000 times less negative to the environment because you've got fucking 600 people on one plane. Yeah, coach. No, one can't fly coach with the poverty-stricken. So people like Greta and Meghan and John Kerry, their carbon footprint is literally, it's probably more than 10,000 times yours. I don't even know how you would figure the numbers out. Like, if you fly once a year on coach plane and John Kerry flies 50 times a year on a private jet, his carbon footprint is probably about 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 times yours, right? But they can do whatever they want. They can fly wherever they like, eat whatever they want, do whatever they want. But you have to eat the bugs, walk to Scunthorpe for your holiday, right? That's where do you live, mate? This will be what it's like in the future. I keep telling you. We're all going to live in these boxes. We're all going to eat the cricket pace, and your holiday is going to be decided for the government. It's like, oh, you want your 1 week state mandated vacation time, do you? Like, beep, boop, bap, you probably won't even talk to a real person. It'll be like a fucking android in one of those big grey sun shot blasted buildings. Like, beep, boop, bap, you are resident of Middlesbrough. You will walk to Hartlepool, enjoy vacation. That's what's going to be happening. So they'll be going on holiday 3 weeks, 3 weeks in Jamaica, and you'll be doing a 10-day hiking holiday in Scunthorpe. Go and have a walk around Hull for a week. You'll love that. You'll love that. You'll get back in your cubicle when you come back nice and refreshed. Because that's where it's going. And this is just more of the same. This is just, it's politics. It's naked politicking. It's the rich, powerful, elite, upper class, privileged in every way, painting themselves as the battle-worn revolutionary. That is the fucking most cringe thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, I've ranted about it enough. At least read one story before I give myself a rage boner and poke some holes in my desk. Mark Ruffalo is encouraging fellow actors to work together to cut out Hollywood's fat cat. That's you, Mark, you absolute chiseler. Making independent films and shows. His comments follow the start of the actors' strike that last week brought the entire industry to a halt. George Clooney. Look at these. George Clooney. George Clooney, need I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, George Clooney is the bloke. Detestable creature. Detestable creature. I'll tell you what, if George Clooney and a sewer rat fell in the pond and I had to rescue one of them, I'd go for the rat first. Although sewer rats are probably quite good swimmers. It's not really a good analogy. The point I'm making is this bloke is an absolute weasel. And he has been for decades. This bloke moved to England. Sadwings, you might not even be aware of this. I read this back when I was living in York. This is like 10 years ago. He moved to England because he started booking some obviously extremely wealthy and attractive British woman. And he moved to England, and then he built a massive fuck-off fence around his house and had big burly security guards all over it, right? And whilst living in it, he was getting involved in politics and saying, oh, we need to let more migrants in. Let them all in. He was saying to David Cameron at the time, or it was, bring them all in. Let them. You got to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing. Him and Amal are always on television. They're always on the red carpet in London. You got to do the right thing. What's the right thing, George? Letting in 8 million unvetted, hairy-arsed men from third world countries with machetes and hissing backpacks. That's the right thing. That's the right thing to do. Oh, yeah. It's right for you, mate, because you've got a big fuck-off wall round your house and a big burly security guard. But it's not the right thing to do for my granny, who lives in a council estate in the northeast where they dump all of the migrant men. And the next thing you know, she goes downstairs for a cup of tea in the middle of the night, and there's a fucking Moroccan with her TV under one hand, under one arm, the biscuit tin full of money under the other, and he's just snapping one off on the kitchen floor out of spite before he goes. It's not all well and good for her. Right? So that's what George Clooney did. And then the hilarity, he said he was leaving for security issues. In fact, can I Google that and see if it comes up? Clooney. But yeah, I can find it. Help me, Google. There we are. Look, I knew I'd fucking get it. When's it from? 2017. Not as long ago as I thought. Look at this. George Clooney planning to move Amal and their twins back to LA amid security concerns over 25 million English country manor. That's what happened. That rat. Like I said, worse than a rat. If there was George Clooney fell in the pond and an old lady dropped her handbag in the pond, the handbag's getting rescued first. Right? George can say, I'll grab the handbag, a duck, a used Johnny that's floating on the fucking top of the water. And then once I get all of that out, maybe I'll try for George. Right, that's my pecking order. But this is what this little rat did. So he went to England, spent a few years bringing as many unvetted migrant men in as he possibly could, and then moved. So, I mean, Oh, that's hilarious, isn't it? It's brilliant, really. Fucking hats off to you, George. Out of all of the hypocritical, detestable behaviour from the Hollywood elite, that's got to be near the top of the tree. I mean, yeah, you've got Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby and all that, but, you know, at least 8 out of 10 of them, let's be honest, it's politically incorrect to say so. 8 out of 10 of them are basically doing it for the money. And don't women in the chat, don't be having a pop, because you know what I'm talking about. One of them women who says Bill Cosby was raping her said he raped her in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. Right. Now, I've made this point before. I'm going to pick on Hoy there because he's a bootneck, so he won't take offense. If Hoy agreed to come round my house for a beer, and I said, come on in, Ellie, I haven't seen you for years, mate. I've opened a keg. Let's have a drink. And we had a few pints. And he woke up 6 hours later with a very, very sore head and an even sorer arsehole, right? I guarantee he wouldn't be coming round my house for a drink again. I'm just putting it out there. If anybody invited me round for a pint and I woke up with Rohypnol on my breath and a sloshy ring piece 4 hours later, I wouldn't go around for a pint with them again. So don't tell me that all of them women are, the victims, when some of them claim they got raped 4 times in 2017, 5 times in 2018, 3 times in 2019. If it happened once, you're not going around his house again. I'm not saying there was too many for them not to be genuine. Some of them were genuine. So obviously he should be in prison. But I'm just saying, when you've got that much money, you do become a target for anybody who's trying to get a payday. So a lot of them was bollocks, right? Just putting that out there. Anyway, we know that Hollywood's done a lot of detestable things, but this bloke is right near the top. So that's everything you need to know about Twatface. Yeah, that wasn't Susan. That wasn't Susan. That was me. I clicked the wrong box and closed it down. No, I'm still here. Don't worry. The glory's got booted. No, it wasn't the feds. That was Bootneck's fault. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is that's all you need to know about Clooney. The bloke's an absolute weasel. So he's amongst the worst, just like Ruffalo and all the rest of them. Where was I on the story, by the way? Let's go down. Yeah, there we are. George Clooney, Susan Sarandon, Jason Sudeikis, and thousands of other actors joined. There's another one. Have you watched him, Jason Sudeikis? He is about as funny as a trip to the fucking dentist, that bloke. All the Americans love it over here. They're all like, oh, have you been watching that? What's it called? What's that dog shit show called where he's a football manager? It's fucking shite. He is not funny. I would rather have a root canal. It would be more funny if I placed my testicles on my desk and bashed them wafer thin with a fucking pint glass. I would laugh more. So that's shite. And he's saying, oh, how about we all jump into indies now? Yeah, indies. These people don't matter anymore at all. And they've got they're massively self-important because the mainstream media in Silicon Valley try and convince the world that we should all be spending all day sucking them off, and they don't matter, and nobody cares, and nobody likes them. Like 9 out of 10 people, if you were to meet they all say never meet your idol, don't they? If you're one of these losers who venerates these Hollywood types, and you met them, you would just be like, oh my God, I hate this person. Within 10 minutes, I'd never get tired of slapping him. And for some reason, they're obsessed with their own legend, basically. So he said, while actors and screenwriters have made great content, really, have they, since you became a big shot, Mark? actors and screenwriters of make great. Really, name me the last bit of great content. As I said, I went to see Mission Impossible on the weekend. First time I've been to the cinema in about. My missus said it's been about 6 years. That's how shocking we are for going to the cinema, because I refuse to give money to woke shit. And it was a bit of a tradition out here. Me and her, we'd always go and watch the Bond films, you know, bit of a tie back to home. And the last one we went to watch was Spectre, because when the new one came out and I seen the trailers and realised that James Bond was going to get beat up by a black lesbian, I was like, I'm not watching that. I don't want to go and watch a great British hero get fucking battered by skunk and Nazi. It's basically what it looked like from the trailers. I was like, I'm not interested. I'm not doing it. I'm not watching shite. So we hadn't been for about 6 years. And then when that came out and everybody says it wasn't woke, I said, all right, I'll go and watch it. But I can't believe you paid to go and watch that. Honestly, films like that, I pinch them and I still feel like I've been robbed. I get them for nothing and I watch them and I feel like I've been fingered by the fucking Hollywood elites. I feel like one of Weinstein's girls. So I don't even go and watch them. But I went and watched that and it was decent, but it wasn't great. I've told you a lot this before. Google, after you watch one of these terrible, insipid, pointless, dog shit pieces of modern entertainment, Google who wrote and directed and produced it. And you will see what I'm telling you. It's all about nepotism and cronyism. Look at the English acting. I mean, seriously. You lot just need to do your homework, lads. This is what I keep telling you. Just read. Fuck the movies. Just read. Read about the histories of people, all the famous darlings from England. The likes of Tilda Swinton or fucking Helena Bonham Carter and all of these. The fuck was that? Somehow I've turned my my music box on there. Essentially, these people are all like landed gentry from the old days. Like in England, it's just as bad as Hollywood, possibly even worse because of the fact that so many of them are old money. In Hollywood, there's at least a couple that managed to get in by, you know, actual hard work. 80% of them, 90% of them will be nepotism and cronyism. But in England, it's almost all of them. Almost all of them are there as a result of who the fucking dad was, rather than having any talent or skill. So it's criminal. Tilda Swinton, I think Tilda Swinton's like related to one of the prime ministers, something. Like it's ridiculous when you really start reading up on these people. And bizarrely, the general public still support like these the sewer that is Hollywood. Like, yeah, James Wood's based, but he's probably the only one. That is true. I follow him on Twitter. He is based, but almost nobody else is. They're just fucking scum. And the idea that they've made great content when the aforementioned cronyism and nepotism has just killed stone dead the idea that Hollywood is anything other than pure nepotism and cronyism. It's dead. Like, great entertainment doesn't get made anymore. Maybe it hasn't for about 10 years. Paula's in. Yes, I am live, Paula. Yes, look, they're finally starting to advertise, the wankers. So that is nonsense. They don't make great content anymore. They made great content in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 90s. I think the 90s was the last great era of cinema, personally, before it just became a sea of cronyism and nepotism and a swamp of paedophilia and freaks, drugs and pill-popping sex pests at these back-slapping ceremonies where they all tell each other how good everything is, but the general public sit there going, yeah, that was dog shit. That was dog shit. So they're just, everything he says is just nonsense. They don't make great content, and they haven't for years. In a shared statement with the PA News Agency, Clooney said, "This is an inflection point in our industry. Actors and writers have lost their ability to make a living." Bollocks. For our industry to survive, that has to change. For actors, that journey starts now. Holy shit. Orange is the new Backstar said she earned $27.30 in a royalty statement for residuals. Yeah, because it's shit. Shit. Orange is the new black. Never fucking heard of it. What do you mean? The hugely popular show. Hugely popular. It's Pump. Orange is the new Pump. Nobody cares. And who the fuck's Kimiko Glenn? Has anybody ever heard of her? You know, when I was in school, one of my mates, Wesley, a bit of a weirdo, he was trying to, just after we left, he was trying to be an actor. And I remember what his big break he got. He was in a Listerine commercial, right? This fucking bint, Kimiko Glenn, crying about residual payments is like Wesley having a pop because Listerine haven't sent him a couple of quid for a few years. You know what I mean? This is, who gives a flying fuck? Who are you? What is your show and who are you? And also think about it, if every single person involved in the show is getting residuals, who's heavily involved, and it's only fair, you're always talking about fairness. If you want residual payments because you're involved in a TV show, you've got to spread it out, Kimiko. You can't just say, fuck everybody else. The camera operator and the boom guy and the mic guy and the sound guy and the set designer and the blah, 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 blah. No, everyone's got to get some, right? Oh, that's not fair. And you're all about fairness, aren't you? So if you're splitting payments between 1,000 people that were involved with the production, well, that's like 30 grand. So maybe that's about fair. I mean, I don't understand how these shows are making money. How's Kimiko Glenn making money for Netflix? Who watches it? And if you pay for Netflix, if you're daft enough to pay for Netflix, you can't tell me that they should be paying them tens of thousands of dollars in residuals because they're not making that much money anymore. People are cutting the subs. Their entertainment's trash. And Kimiko could probably, even people who love the show, I'm sure she's not the star because I've never fucking heard of her. She could take a long walk off a short pier and the people who love the show probably wouldn't care that much. Well, why should you never have to work again because you've acted in a shit movie? Is that what they want to be, these fat cats in Hollywood think it should be? I can make one or two shitty TV programs and then I can just retire and then spend all my money on blown rent boys for the rest of my life because I've been on telly. No. Do some work, you lazy bastards. Nobody cares about you people. Anyway, I'll blow a gasket talking about this because I hate them all. CEO, but this guy, they're all fucking rats. Brian Cox. I wouldn't piss on Brian Cox if he was on fire. I think less of Brian Cox than I do of the majority of the inmates at Wormwood Scrubs. I have no time for these people at all. At all. And nobody with any sense does. So essentially, I'm coming to the climax. Where is this money going to come from? Your audience is dwindling. Your popularity is through the floor. Your entertainment is shit. You need those three things to make money. It's like when I've complained about the Women's World Cup, complaining because they don't get paid the same as the men. It's got nothing to do with discrimination and everything to do with basic maths. It's just maths. The Men's World Cup makes billions of dollars. The Women's World Cup makes a couple of $100 million at best. So therefore, the ones that are making billions of dollars multiply billions by the thousands of people involved and they all get a cut. They're going to get more money than the thousands of people involved who have made 100 million. Women football players complaining they get paid less than male football players is like the CEO of Walmart getting paid the same as the bloke who owns the local petrol station or the local Indian supermarket. Well, you don't earn the same as the guy that runs Walmart, mate, because the bloke that runs Walmart makes $100 billion a year profit and you make £80,000 a year profit. That's why you don't get paid the same. And these wankers have lost the three things they need to get the big bucks. Your audience is gone, so money's gone down. Your product's terrible, so there's no new audience coming in, no growth. And most importantly, you have lost the support of the people. Nobody likes you. If you haven't got the support, Nobody's going to pay. Everybody hates you. Clooney's a hypocrite. Half of them are paedophiles. Right? They're all pill-popping sexual deviants, sex pest degenerates, rapists and pedos and everything. And they're actually sitting there going, yeah, the people are going to support us. Yeah. Really? But is Ian Huntley sitting in his cell fucking whiling the hours away like that? Oh, the people love me. The people fucking love me. I only folded up a few 8-year-olds. Everyone loves that, don't they? I'm well popular, me. They get the brains warped by the mainstream media. Brian Cox thinks he's a hero. And everywhere he goes, people are going to be swooning over him. Wow, it's Brian Cox. Yeah, I love him. I'll do anything for you, Mr. Cox. Walk into a pub in Middlesbrough, Brian Cox. See what people think of you in there. If he walked into my local, someone would fucking nut him. That's how that'd go down. These people are living in an absolute fantasy land. So nobody cares is the summarization of this story. Nobody cares. You can go on strike as long as you want. Nobody likes you. Nobody cares. Look at the state of that. I don't even know what is that on the end there. Why did women who clearly, if they put even slight bit of effort in, would look quite attractive? What do they do that to themselves for? Look at the clip of her. Fucking, no, not that one. That one. No, you can't see it. The one on the far right. Look at her. Coach bolt through her fucking nose. She looks like a bovine. She looks like one of the cowheads in the local dairy. Man's haircut. And if you're lucky enough to not be born ginger, who dyes their hair ginger? Who dyes their hair ginger? Someone who's fortunate enough to not be ginger, dyeing their hair ginger. That is like a bloke going into the doctors and being like, right, mate, cock reduction. I've got 6 inches to play with here. I feel like I really need a cock reduction. No, mate, I think that's about right, isn't it? Nah. Shave 5 off. 5.5. I want a 0.5er. Bosh. I want to impress the girls with me 0.50. That's fucking lunacy. So I don't understand that, these modern birds making themselves howling for no reason. That's shocking. And Susan Sarandon, fucking hell. Look at the clip of her. Bags under. She looks like shite, doesn't she, Susan? That cheers me up. She used to be a sex symbol, didn't she? Now she's got fucking bags under her eyes like Yoda's. Her eyeballs look like Yoda's ball sack. She's she's looking a bit rough. Happy days. Happy days. It's a lot of shit. There's nobody here that I like. Yeah, he's a wanker. We need leaders. Fuck off. You paid to act. I don't care about your political opinions, you fucking knobhead. Who else? Is there anyone here I don't want to punch in the face? No. What happens next is Hollywood. Don't care. Don't care who that big-eared boy is. Don't even know who that big-eared boy is. It's just worth nothing to me. He's a wanker. She's a fucking dickhead. Nobody cares. She's howling. He's a dirty bastard. Look, they're all freaks and pedos and sex pests and deviants. I don't care. So that is what I want to sum up with. Go on strike, mate. I'll end the stream. Ending on a high, right? Ending on a high. Why you don't need modern entertainment. This strike could go on for 10 years and it would not be worth a wank to any of us, right? I'm just going to reel off. I'll do 10 because you know me, I've got a broad general knowledge, right? I'll do 10 shows that you could watch that'll last you for fucking years, right? And you don't even need to worry about any of this new stuff. Think of all the stuff I've watched over the years that are absolutely amazing. And I haven't seen them for years. So I could easily go back and just watch them again. And I definitely enjoyed them. We recently rewatched The Wire from start to finish, all the way through. It'll take your ages. Brilliant show. Do that. So you can watch the whole of The Wire from start to finish. That's mint. HBO, Rome, absolutely class. The Sopranos, right? Watch that again. There's 3. That'll keep you going for a fucking month. All the classic stuff from the 80s, 90s, and the 90s will last you forever. You don't even need to worry about any of this stuff. And best of all, if you get a VPN, as obviously, or a season review, that is a hell of a watch. That is a hell of a watch. Band of Brothers is fucking class. It's another good one. Yeah. Breaking Bad was good for a modern one. Again, it's quite old now, isn't it? You anything decent, you think, well, I suppose there's a decent new show. It's not new. not new. All the shit from the 80s and the 90s is good. There are thousands of good shows to watch. I've also recently watched from start to finish in the last couple of years. I rewatched Poirot. Although Poirot with David Suchet, fucking class. The old Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes TV series. Jeremy Brett, fantastic. It was made by ITN, I think, back in the day. All this stuff you get for now. If you go on a VPN and go on, I can't mention the website, I'll probably get banned. But get a VPN and then jump in and just fucking have a look around. You can get all this shit for now and you don't have to watch it. All the early stuff is absolutely class. But there's some old ones I definitely recommend. The old Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes that was on Granada. Amazing. Amazing. Better than the Auf Wiedersehen Pet, yeah, Dad's Army. Class. Loads of good stuff. Lord of the Rings films, fantastic. What the point I'm getting at is, if you put even any slight bit of effort in, you've got all the entertainment now, because it's 2023. We've got the digital age, and all the stuff that you need is just a mouse click away. You've literally got 3 decades, because they really started pumping it out in the 80s and backing it up. And you've got decades of cinema and TV that you can watch for years without ever having to worry about the absolute shit they're making now. And best of all, you'll actually be entertained. You can actually watch Last of the Summer Wine as well. I've been watching that again lately. Minder was good. There's loads of good shit. And best of all, you don't have to see 2 blokes kissing every 10 seconds. I told you last time I rang my dad, he was threaders. I rang my dad and he was kicking off down the phone, like he always does. Being like, you can't put the telly on for 5 minutes without seeing 2 blokes fucking necking on. It's ridiculous. Every time I turn the telly on, there's 2 Africans kissing each other. It's fucking... That's what it's like every time I ring my dad now. Just kicking off with me for 10 minutes. It's why I don't phone him. You think I'm bad-tempered? He's like... He makes me look like a reasonable fucking polite fellow. And that's what I get when I ring him. About once a month, I give him a call. And I just get that shit down the phone for 20 minutes. I just wanted to put a bet on WilliamHill.com, and there's 2 lesers fucking rubbing muffs all over the homepage. That's the world we're living in. So ignore it all, laugh at the likes of Mark Ruffalo, and I hope he gets sunstroke marching around on Hollywood Boulevard in a heat wave, the fucking knobhead, and entertain yourself with the last 30 years of entertainment, because it's all out there and it's all fantastic. And now, cronyism and nepotism and arrogance has led us to up the garden path into this, where nothing they make is good anymore. And even, like I said, even Mission Impossible wasn't good. It was all right, decent. But like a dying man in the desert, because it was decent, it was the best thing I've seen in years from a recent production, because they've got no talent anymore. So, to sum up, fuck them. If you need some ideas for entertainment, scroll through the chat. There's dozens of amazing TV shows and movies that can keep you entertained for fucking years to come. So Hollywood, pork it. I'm not interested. All right? And I hope they all get sunstroke on Hollywood Boulevard this week. There's another class. I'll tell you what, I think I'll watch that this week. I haven't seen that for 2 decades. Anyway, right, you can have that for now, you twats. I'm off. Thanks for watching. Oh, I've just finished uploading a video. So 5 minutes, it'll be live on my channel. Stick around and watch it. I'm having a pop. It is Hollywood related, because I was going to bring it up briefly and I didn't get to it because I've been ranting. I have made a Hollywood related video, slagging off Peter fucking Dinklage, the little twat who is at the root of the Snow White kerfuffle that's currently going on. So I've just uploaded it. It'll probably be live in about 5 minutes. Don't forget to check it out and like and subscribe and all that bollocks if you care. Who cares? Who cares? They've banned my channel too many times for it to matter. So who cares? Don't even bother. But if you do watch it, I hope you enjoy it. All right? Thanks for checking it out. See you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.